Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review of the Boonboomger Robo and the 119 combination. Here's a size comparison. So in a way, he kind of is in Transformers scale if you consider this like a normal size truck, even though these cars are way smaller than Transformers cars. But yeah, he's a lot smaller than Oni Taijin, of course. And here's a look at the box. So I got the collection that comes with all the auxiliary cars, and then you can see the different combinations and the role play item, whatever that is, morpher, I guess. And then better look at all the different combinations you can get with him. And then I got 119 separate. And he comes in that box. Okay, so let's get a 360 view of this guy. And I don't think this is a real combination. I just threw on all the different vehicles wherever you can put them. So he's got 2 leg ports. He's got his, I don't know, fire ladder port. He's got his 2 shoulder ports. He's got one up here, but you can't fit a vehicle up there. So I think 5 vehicles is the max you can put on him. They're all there, so you might as well use them. And here's how he looks without all the accessories on him. And I think this is actually one of the better looking combinations that we got. So yeah, we lost articulation, but we got a pretty good looking 2 robot combo. Kind of reminds me of like the Astro Megazord and the Delta Megazord. How you just have 2 robots that just combine into a really cool, simple combination. I think the only thing that this thing is really missing is I wish that this shield piece, like the windshield parts, would come off and become chest pieces. And then of course you got a robot head hanging off the back, which is not great. But I wish the windshield from the fire truck would just peg onto his chest. I think that would help him out a little bit too. But yeah, I decided to buy in on this series because this combination looks so good. So this is where I'm starting. So I don't know if there's going to be like another final combination after all this, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, so pretty good robot mode. His articulation is decent. He has actually, his articulation is bad, let's be honest. He's got no head articulation. He does have these universal joints thanks to the base robot. So he's got all of that motion, pretty good. He's got no elbows, even though he's got like hollow plastic here. They could have easily put a ratcheted elbow joint and a bicep rotation. Could have easily fit that in there. And that's something I'll probably have to customize, but easily could have had that bicep and elbow. And then his crotch does not like to stay together. It's like constantly splitting. This could have used an actual clip instead of just a friction peg. He does have like 1 click of outward leg motion. He does have more, but they disabled it with this little tab. So you could shave that and get more outward rotation, but then you'll like compromise some of the stability. He does have like a full forward kick, nope, they disabled that too. So he actually, it's because he has like a little hip skirt that gets in the way, so that hip piece keeps him from doing a backward kick. But that's fine, he's got a full forward kick, and that is it. That's the entirety of his articulation, which is very poor. When I get him in the base robot, we'll talk more about like what they could have done. But yeah, I think this is pretty good looking combination. So the way that this works is his head is just a whole entire separate piece. It's all of this mess. And this can become a little truck, which is cool, like a little miniature fire truck. And you are supposed to use the gimmick to unpeg this, but it unpegs pretty easily. And then you rotate this face around and you get the 2 lion eyes. And then if you rotate this around, he's now a lion head. So you can see he's got these fangs, he's got these eyes. I guess, yeah, there's his ears, and these are supposed to be his mane, I guess. I don't know. And then we can just slide off this giant underused shield piece again. I think these two, if this front section would have just came off and pegged into his chest, I think that would have been great. And then we got his fire ladder, which is pretty cool. It can extend, and then it's got the gimmick where it transforms the cars built into it. So that's pretty cool. And then we get his legs. And then I like that his legs actually slide onto these sliders. That's pretty cool. And so does his shoulder armor. It actually uses the combination ports. So I do appreciate that. And then, yeah, his leg armor is pretty cool. It's got like the front piece and a side piece. And then the shoulder armor. Yeah, so I think the only thing he was missing was just a cool chest armor. Would have just really hyped him up. So now we have him like in his base mode, and you can just rotate this forward and give him his standard head. He has all the same articulation, and he could have had neck articulation. I unscrewed this screw, so they just disabled his neck. But yeah, he could have easily had neck articulation too, and they just didn't build that in, unfortunately. So now we're going to take all these pieces, and we're going to assemble this into a lion. So we're just going to rotate these so the clips are all facing the same side, and then we just clip these all together. And then you can take this piece, and this is just going to slide on here in this red rail, and this will assemble the front of the fire truck. And now you got most of the fire truck here. Actually the lion, so we got his back legs, and then we just take his front legs and we're just going to peg them onto these joints here. I don't know what you call these, like mushroom combiner pegs, I don't know. And then we take his lion head you saw earlier, and that's going to slide onto this rail. And then we can just take this hose piece, and that's going to slide into this on the back. And then we're going to want to click this one time up for his tail. And there we go, the 119 or 119 lion. It's kind of funny because wan is a barking noise, so I thought this would be a dog, but no, he's a lion. Yeah, he doesn't really look like a lion. He fails pretty hard. I still think this is a dog. I guess this piece here is supposed to be his lion mane, and then this is supposed to be some of it, and this up here. So this is like the lion mane, and here's the face. They could have pulled off the lion look if this was all painted gold. I think would have really made it look like a lion, so I might do that. And then if the inside of this was painted gold, it would look more like a lion mane, but he's really not pulling off the look. And his mouth doesn't open or anything. He's just locked in this expression. So yeah, I think definitely fails as a lion. I'm not feeling it. And then he's got, of course, the combiner ports, so you could just peg on all these auxiliary cars if you want to. It doesn't really, I don't think it really enhances the look of him, but you can pretend that he's going into battle with these weapons, I guess. It kind of doesn't work because most of these are not guns, but you can kind of accessorize him. So he's got those two ports and these two ports. And the cool thing about these ports is they do rotate, so that was a nice touch. But yeah, kind of a fail mode, but I do enjoy how these two look together. So it's got like him and his pet dog. And then I like to have the Boonboomger Robo. I like to have him in his stock configuration. I like these two accessories, might be my favorites. I really like the fist, is very cool, or the grabby arm, and then this simple screwdriver, which kind of fits the theme. I think this looks pretty good too. So I think his base mode looks pretty great. And then I guess while I'm just talking about this guy in his base mode, we'll just flip back and forth. I think a couple of things they could have done that would have been nice was if this was on some kind of ball joint so that these could like rotate and move out of the way, since they're supposed to be like cape pieces. It would be nice if they ball jointed theirs, or even ball jointed them up here or something, gave it a universal joint so it could just rotate back. I think would have been nice. And then, yeah, and then if they enabled the head to rotate, which was definitely possible, and they just intentionally disabled it. And then, of course, putting in elbow joints. And then the other thing is his knee joints. So he does have separate thighs and shins, and you can just rip his leg off. And he's got these little spring joints right here, which is very interesting because you can actually put his legs back on at a 90-degree angle. So he actually technically does have bending knees, which is very weird. The problem is that this is a right angle. If you cut this at 45 degrees, he would actually be able to bend his leg. So of course, you know that I'm going to do that mod just to give him a leg that can bend like this and then bend at 45 degrees and then straighten out. So of course I'm going to do that. But yeah, it's weird they disabled his knees when they're clearly right there. All it needs is just some of this plastic shaved off and he's ready to go. You can get a nice knee bend. And I think this looks cool with both of his knees, so he can like crouch and then he can pet his dog, which I think is very cute. So I enjoy that. Okay, let's get him out of the way and let's talk more about the lion. So you just rotate the legs up. So the easy, very simple transformation. And what's really cool about this transformation is it doesn't really take any parts forming. It does parts form the head, but that kind of doesn't count because it's its own vehicle. And then you just close up the vehicle into truck mode. And then you have this port right here, and you're going to use that to put in his truck. And now you have like a completed fire truck. So really cool. I really like that this can just transform into its two forms with no parts forming, and then the parts forming is just reserved for the combination. So that's pretty good. I think if you hate parts forming robots, you'll definitely appreciate that they went that extra mile. And like I said, you can put the vehicles on these ports and you can have one up here. It doesn't really elevate things. If one of the vehicles made a decent looking cannon, that would be pretty cool. I guess this guy's technically the gun because now the nozzle is exposed. I would guess that this guy's like a hose in the show and he just is like a water cannon, but technically he can use himself as the cannon, and then it doesn't rotate left and right, unfortunately. But pretty decent fire truck mode. And then he is basically in Transformers scale, which is very cool. And then yeah, so that's it about 119. So if that's what you came here for, you're good to go. Now you know everything about it. And then we'll talk about all the accessories that came with this collection pack, or this box set. His leg's not pegged all the way in. Okay, so this is his, I guess his stock configuration is maybe the first combination that he has. And I think pink and blue are both very cool. It would be very cool if he had elbows and biceps so he could actually move these in a dynamic way, but you'll see that when I customize this guy later. But yeah, those are cool couple default vehicles. And then we just transform those. They're spring loaded, easy. And then that just transforms like that. Very easy, very simple. I'll just throw those on the fire truck for now. Okay, cool. So he's got two vehicles. I like to have them straight, but I guess it's cooler if they're diagonal. I don't know. And then, so that's probably my favorite combination, even though it's very basic. I think my second favorite is this one, which is like a Matador, I think. You do have to cheat on the head on this one. And then you do have this joint, which is for parts forming basically. And it does come with this little visor piece. I don't know what this is. I've never watched any of these shows, but he looks like a little robot with a little sun hat. And then he's got like his extra face, which is his basic form. But you do need this platform. I mean, you don't technically need it, but you need it to like fill in this huge empty chest void. So you do want to have that. And then you have like this matador form. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He's got like these bull horns. He's got a red cape right here. He's got this sword. And getting these back in vehicle form is very simple, which is a big part of the fun. Done. And this is like my third favorite form, which is the construction team. So he gets a giant hammer and he gets this cool, like, I don't know how you would even describe that, construction robot head. But yeah, pretty good form is there as well. Not a bad combination. And then this just slides off. This is going to slide out of his hand. You're going to fold up the peg, unfold this whole thing, rotate it, and then fold this down. And you get this kind of vehicle. And then this guy's a little more complicated. You're going to fold the face up, put that inside there, fold this down, and then fold up the crane or the excavator, and then you get that vehicle. For this last combination, my least favorite, you do need to take this platform out and just slide his head in there. And then you get the cop combination, and he's got these very dumb looking guns that barely pass as guns. And then he's got this crazy cop head that has the sirens. It's got a spiked brim. It's got a spike in the middle, just very aggressive looking cop. And then to transform these, you're just going to fold up the nozzles. These are going to rotate in place. And then you're going to rotate these this way, which is very odd. And then you're going to pancake it together to get this vehicle. And then this vehicle does kind of a cool things where this is going to become the windshield, and then the face is going to rotate all the way around, and that's what lets it use the light bars. So pretty clever transformation on this guy, even though I think he looks very ugly in head mode. And then I've seen in other videos, this is like his basic non-superhero mode. So you take off the cape pieces, and then you put on that brim hat. You just put that over his face, and then you get this very dumb looking face. I don't like this at all. And then that's his default face, which is pretty cool, even though the eyes are very cute. Okay, I'm going to quickly just transform this guy. So you're just going to split him in half. You're going to rotate his legs, and his arms are going to fit in there. So you get this basically. And then you're going to fold out these panels. And then you're going to fold his cape up. So sandwich his cape pieces together, and then his head is going to rotate up like it did for some of the combinations. And then you move this wheel, and that's going to make the set of rear wheels of the vehicle. And then you have his gate mode. And the cool thing about this is you just rotate it here, you load in a vehicle here, and then you just shove it forward, and then it will transform. And the cool thing is if you shove it hard enough, the vehicle will actually launch off too. So pretty cool gimmick actually. So it's kind of like a portal. And then to get him into fully vehicle mode, you're just going to rotate or shove the gate mode all the way back, then close up these, close up this, and there you have his trailer mode, and everything clicks into place very nice. You've got these combination joints here, and you got enough space up here for 2 cars. 3 definitely won't fit. And this guy again is like a good Transformers scale. He's pretty big, even though the other cars will be much smaller. So yeah, we can just load that up with a couple cars, put a couple up here. And there we go, both vehicles with all 8 little cars, accessory cars on them. So I got this on Amazon Japan. I think the whole set was about $160 for everything here. I don't think this goes in the vehicle anywhere. Maybe he just hangs out up here. I don't know. Which I think is a pretty good deal. There's a lot of play value. It's very fun, even though the articulation is limited and some of the modes are very dumb. I still think it's kind of cool. And then this has 3 modes, which is pretty interesting. And the combination is very good. and I think makes the whole thing worthwhile. So I would definitely recommend these robots. The quality is pretty good, except for there's a lot of little pieces that can just pop off. Like the shoulder pads on this guy are pretty annoying. They pop off at the drop of a hat. But yeah, I would really recommend this set. And yeah, that's it for this review, and I'll see you in the next one.